So, you're studying AQA's Love Through the Ages poetry, and let's be honest, the exam can feel like a huge, impossible mountain to climb. But what if I told you there's a code to it, a way to crack it wide open? Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you the keys to turn all that stress into some serious confidence. Let's get right into it.
Feeling a bit buried by 13 pre-1900 poems, and that big comparative essay just looming over you? Yeah, you are not alone. But here's the thing. Forget trying to memorize every single line of every single poem. I promise you, there is a much, much smarter way to revise.
And that, right there, is the secret we're unlocking today. Success here isn't about just knowing the poems backwards. No, it's about understanding the game. It's about knowing what the examiners are really looking for and spotting the hidden patterns AQA uses year after year.
Okay, so let's start with the most important part of all. What do the people who are actually marking your paper want to see? Let's forget the guesswork, because this comes directly from what AQA itself says gets the top marks.
The strongest, top-scoring answers always do these 5 things. 1. They build a really clear argument that answers the question head-on. 2. They don't just spot techniques, that's old news. They analyze how a poet's methods actually create meaning. 3. They use context with real purpose, not just dropping in random facts about the poet's life. 4. They build direct, explicit bridges between the poems, showing exactly how they connect or contrast. And finally, number 5, they actually engage with the debate inside the question. So the big takeaway, it's all about having a focused, analytical argument.
All right, now for the really good news. This exam is so much more predictable than you might think. See, AQA has its favorite topics, ideas that it just loves to come back to again and again. Let's take a look at the evidence.
Okay, just look at this timeline of past paper themes. Are you starting to see the patterns emerging? Desire, social rules, gender, endings, these are not random. This is a core set of ideas that AQA is, well, kind of obsessed with. This is proof positive that your revision can be incredibly targeted, because we can basically predict the territory the exam is going to cover.
So here they are, all boiled down. These are the big ideas, the conceptual areas that pop up time and time again. You should think of this list as your revision heat map. The most exam-active topics are right here in front of you. Seriously, focusing on how the poems tackle these ideas is the absolute most efficient way to prepare for literally any question they could throw at you.
So, we know the recurring themes. Great. But how do you actually use that knowledge to build a really powerful comparative essay? Well, that brings us to our next section, your toolkit. This is a practical guide to pairing up poems for maximum impact in the exam.
So when a question comes up about desire or seduction, a classic go-to pairing is the flea with the his coy mistress. It is absolutely perfect for comparing these witty, clever, but kind of manipulative arguments of male persuasion. But for a completely different spin on desire, you could pair Wyatt and Keats to explore that darker, more destructive side of pursuit and obsession.
Okay, what about love that lasts, or, doesn't? For any themes about constancy and faithfulness, Shakespeare's Sonnet 116 is your anchor. Now, pairing it with Rossetti's Remember creates this fantastic debate. On one hand, Sonnet 116 presents love as this eternal, unshakable force. But on the other, Remember offers a much more tender, realistic view that actually prioritizes the living partner's happiness over some rigid memory. It's a perfect contrast. AQA absolutely loves questions about what gets in the way of love. And for social barriers, the pairing of Hardy's At an Inn and The Ruined Maid is just incredibly strong. Both poems explore how things like social judgment, reputation, and unspoken rules can stop a real connection from happening. And what's great is they do it from completely different class perspectives, which gives you so much rich material to analyze.
And of course, we have to talk about the darker side of love, right? The pain, the conflict, the disappointment. For questions on this stuff, the options are really rich. A really insightful pairing is Blake's The Garden of Love with The Ruined Maid. Why? Because both poems explore a form of corruption. One is corruption by organized religion and its oppressive rules, the other by social hypocrisy, and they both show how innocence gets damaged by these powerful outside forces.
Okay, so we've decoded the exam, and we've got a toolkit of killer pairings. So now, how do we put it all together into the single most efficient revision strategy you could possibly have? This, my friends, is the master key. 6. What's so special about the number 6? Well, it's not how many poems you need to have memorized. No, it's the 6 high-priority themes that AQA comes back to again and again and again. Desire, enduring love, conflict, social barriers, gender, and time.
And here is the best part, the real game changer. You don't need to be an expert on every single possible combination of the 13 poems to cover those 6 key themes. Not at all. You can get maximum coverage with just a few smart, strategic core pairings.
So here they are, your 5 essential pairings. If you know these 5 pairs inside out, you are ready for almost anything AQA can throw at you. You've got Sonnet 116 and Remember for constancy, the Flea and Coy Mistress for desire, A Fond Kiss and At an Inn to talk about the pain of separation, the Ruined Maid and the Garden of Love for social constraints. And then you've got your wildcard pair, Whoso Lists and La Belle Dame for that destructive, obsessive kind of love. This right here, this is your foundation for a top-grade answer.
You've got the strategy. Now, where do you find the best materials to actually put all this into practice? Let's quickly walk through the essential resource trail.
Honestly, my advice, stick to the official sources and cut through the noise. Use the AQA website for the official poems and the exam specification. Use past papers from both AQA and Physics and Maths Tutor to practice tracking these themes yourself. And for really, really excellent notes on every single poem, the PMT anthology page is your absolute best friend.
So there you have it. The code is cracked, and the patterns are crystal clear. The path through love through the ages isn't nearly as scary or as daunting as it first seems. You've got the map. The only question left is, which poetic path will you explore first?